What's up, X Brand Wrestling fans? It is I, your ultra-violent siren, your deathmatch succubus, and your favorite indie hype girl, Kakeface Karlee. And we are back with another episode of X Brand Unleashed. And today we have someone very special. He is
Thank you,
a,
thank you.
oh, absolutely. We have a second generation superstar. He is one half of Completely Unstoppable Machines and amazing person all around, Louie Jr. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. It is an honor to be here again to do one of these for X Brand, a place that I now call home. Um, X Brand has given me a lot of first times, a lot of ones that I'll remember, a lot of scars on my body that I will die with. Um, you know, X Brand is a special place for different reasons. Whether you want to call it the new school ultraviolet underground, or the new subterranean, or however the fuck you say it, death trap. Um, experts here to stay, man. There's a lot of people that are out there saying this, that, and the next. I'm here to have fun, bleed, and entertain the people that will support me. Whether you support GCW, CCW, ICW, X Brand, I'm here for deathmatch wrestling. I'm not here for three letters. And I wish some people would take that time and understand that. Um, there's a lot of people out there that will, everyone knows in the New Jersey scene, people calling the cops and people doing this and people doing that. You're just taking money out of the boy's pocket. My goal was to always, I'm kind of like my dad in that sense of, I have a full time job with the city I live in, and I do other things for work. So wrestling for me is a hobby, a fun time with my boys, and just to entertain people, because for me, wrestling was always my escape when I was, bullied in school, or, picked on for always wanting to be a wrestler. I would hide in my room and just play with my action figures and put IWTV on and watch it. So I'm here to just give back to the business, because the business, um, as you look at it now, a lot of people say, a special person in my heart actually said, I've given everything to a business, but the business doesn't owe you anything, because the business doesn't owe you anything. You give everything to the business, and the business will give back to you, whether it's world championships, whether it's opportunities in other countries. Eventually you'll get there. So I just want to leave that mark on X Brand and wherever I go, because that's always been who I am.
And I mean, just from what I've seen from you so far, you've absolutely proved that. And just for everyone watching, you're like 20?
I'm 20 years old. I technically had my first ever match. I was 10. I wrestled in the baseball field 2 minutes down the road from my house with my dad at a local like school show to raise money for the South Amboy. Yes, I live in South Amboy, New Jersey, the shittiest part of Jersey ever. Um, the South Amboy Youth Athletic Association, and I used to play baseball and basketball, and always would do fundraisers and stuff to try to get a football team together. So when we could um, no longer speak on the people that were involved due to unforeseen circumstances. But that's where I technically got my foot in the door. It was a promotion that was, making its way up, and then obviously things happened. But it was me and my dad against Brian Brass and Nicholas K. I did literally two moves, hit a frog splash, and pin the guy to win. Um, I grew up in the business. Funny enough, when I was born, literally when my mom was giving birth to me, Eddie Guerrero versus Kurt Angle on SmackDown was fucking on the television in the room. So that just goes to show you,
Literally
what.
from birth, this has
Yeah,
been your calling.
yeah, yeah, 100%. I always knew, you know, my parents. Obviously, my dad's been doing it for 30 years, and my mom's been with him
Sure.
22, I think now. Um, my parents always said, "Follow your dreams," and my dad, I don't think ever wanted me to bleed like he did, but when I was younger, I was always like, "Oh, I want to main event WrestleMania," and this, that, and the next. As I look at it now, with all the scars I have on my body already, I know I'll never get there. So if I can make it to Japan or Canada, that's my WrestleMania in a sense. I don't need to be paid millions of dollars to wrestle on TV.
I mean, that's amazing. So you mentioned literally from birth, you have just been around wrestling. What was
Yes.
that moment for you that was like on TV that was like, oh yeah, now
Oh,
I'm a fan, besides just, your dad who's, a legend?
that's pretty easy. I want to say Extreme Rules 2008 when WWE had just bought ECW. That was probably
Okay.
the last good ECW pay-per-view. The Edge versus the Undertaker in a tables, ladders, and chairs match for the World Heavyweight Championship. I would watch that match when I wake up in the morning, when I'd go to bed, and now at my age, I could recite everything they did. I can recite you the whole match right now, and you can go
Oh, I
watch
love
it. And
that.
everything that I said would be true.
That's amazing. So I remember seeing something that you said in, I believe it was 2016. You were able to give your dad his first ever deathmatch
Yes.
tournament trophy.
Yes.
Walk us through that. That is such an incredible thing. Was that your first kind of like
Um.
taste of the ultra violence, like seeing that?
So the first show I ever went to, my dad wrestled New Jack in a steel cage. I was 3, and I was horrified. I watched like this. So the first deathmatch show I ever went to was Tournament of Survival 1 in Howell. And that day I met the likes of Marcus Crane, Danny Havoc, Zandig, John Wayne Murdoch, Viking. And
How old were you at this point?
I was 10. I had just turned 10. So me and my dad took a Greyhound bus from Old Bridge Turnpike Park and Ride to the Howell Park and Ride that I drive by every Thursday when I go do my weekly wrestling tapings. And we walked 3 blocks to the fucking Game Changer World. And when Danny Havoc won, it was funny because I didn't really get to talk to Danny Havoc much that day. So they had announced Survival of the Sickest won, I want to say the week after my birthday. So the Survival of the Sickest, July 16th, was the first time I had ever stepped into the Old Time Wrestling Arena, which is now known as the H2O Wrestling Center. And I was memorized because I walked through the locker room and I was like, oh, damn, okay. I like this. This is cool. I walked through the curtain. I said hello to everyone. That day I met and the poster literally sits right, I don't know if you can see it, but right there on
Wow.
the wall next to my TV. Jeff Cannonball, Matt Tremont, Mark Angel, Chondo, Drew Blood, Danny Havoc, Connor Claxton, Devin Moore. And that day I think is what kind of clicked to me as, this is where you belong. You don't belong, doing this or out with your friends playing football in the grass. This is what you are meant to do. And that day, Danny Havoc gave me 2 posters, and I don't think I have them hanging up at the moment, but I have them somewhere. But it was a America's Most Crazy poster that I still have to this day, and it was another poster. I forget what it was. It might have been an old CCW poster. And that day, he became my best friend. Funny enough, about, I want to say, that a month later, my dad and Matt Tremont wrestled at A Date with Destiny in Howell because John Zandig couldn't make it at GCW. And then the month after that is when my dad broke his ribs. He had a collapsed lung against Masada. So, yeah, handing my dad that trophy was something I'll never forget. When I got to the venue that day, I was pulled aside by somebody, and they were like, you can't tell your dad, but he's winning the tournament. I was like,
You knew before he did?
Yeah, he had no idea. He had no idea he was winning this tournament. We everyone talks about it, but Jeff Cannonball picked us up that day, and that's who my dad was wrestling. Oh my God, pulling back the fourth wall, right? Um, so they were bullshitting. I still talk to Jeff Cannonball to this day. One of my favorite people of all. Fuck ALS. Go donate to the GoFundMe. And they were just bullshitting, like wrestlers do, classic travel talk or whatever. So when I get there, I'm pulled to the side, and they're like, "Yeah, he's winning the tournament. I want you, you're going to give him the trophy." I was like, "Oh, all right, cool." So it was a very long day. We got there probably about 2:00, and I'm sitting in the locker room. I'm just, observing everything, watching. And then finally he goes to wrestle, so I'm standing out there watching. And I remember going back to the locker room for something, and he won, and I just started jumping up and down in the locker room, and I popped all the boys that day because they were like, "Oh my God," blah blah blah. And then, handing him that trophy was something I'll never forget. That was basically the start of me knowing that this is the footstep that I need to follow, and not, try to, not try to make it on TV, but that was the day I fell in love with deathmatch wrestling. The amount of love and the amount of just everything from that night, I think, really is what struck me in the heart of, this is where I belong.
I think as a fan, for me too, that's what resonates with me with deathmatch wrestling. There's just so much more sense of love and dedication. I mean, everyone is putting their blood, sweat, and tears into this, but I mean, you guys are literally doing all of that and more. And even just watching like H2O shows of just everyone, setting up, and after the match, everyone's making sure everyone's okay.
Yeah.
And I think, like, for me, like I said, as a fan, that's what resonates with me too, and why I love deathmatch wrestling so much. So you're 10 years old.
Yeah.
You decide that this is my calling, this is what I want to do. So, you said you had like your official first match when you're around 10 with your dad. When did you start training then? And when did you like officially start training? Like,
so, a lot of people, I don't have to name names. I've spoken to a lot of people about this. I have trained with various amounts of people, have done full seminars with, the likes of B-Boy, Speedball Mike Bailey, all that stuff. Homicide. I used to roll around in a ring with him when I was like 5 years old, and he would grab on my ear and pull it down and teach me how to defend myself. So if we're being realistic, the first time I ever stepped in the ring and took a legit bump was probably 2018 is when I was like, okay, I really need to get this moving. I need to do this. So, once the OTW arena became the H2O Wrestling Center, I had a lot. I was very lucky because I was able to go in and learn how to take bumps and learn how to learn how to do everything you need to do to keep yourself and your opponent safe. I will 100% be honest. I did not graduate from a school. Okay. I was basically taught by different people, and they all taught me how to wrestle. I was an H2O student at heart, and I would always go to, whenever I could get down there, because it was always 2 hours for me, and I would go to school, and I don't have my driver's license. So it was very hard for me to get there every day to train. But whenever I was there, I was always in the ring taking bumps, learning how to wrestle, whether it was with Declan Grant or Frank Benetti. Matt Tremont taught me pretty much, him and my dad taught me everything I know now. So yeah, it was around 2018 was when I was fully ready and fully committed to doing this. But yeah, it was probably, trying to think, COVID year was 2020, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so about 2019 was when I started to basically, I was at every H2O show. I was setting up chairs, breaking down chairs, cleaning up broken glass. I had been doing that for years, but I wasn't around all the time. In 2019, I was everywhere. I had always been doing GCW since 2017, but I was still young. There wasn't that itch in the back of my mind, like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. I never wanted to, oh, yeah, I'm going to do this full time. No, because I was 12 years old. I was in like 7th grade worrying about middle school drama. So it was never, oh, man, wrestling, it's number one. No, it wasn't. And I'm not even going to lie. So 2020 hits, pandemic, COVID. That's when I kind of slowed down and got really, really depressed. I didn't really want to do anything. I did not get to graduate middle school. I had to drop $700 and do a 0.5 credit class because that's how much I was off to pass. $700 later, and literally a week of summer school later, I passed with a 97. I'm smart. I'm not stupid. I got a 1375 on my SAT. I'm not a dumb kid. And then once Danny Havoc passed away, I kind of just gave up. I quit. I didn't care. Nothing. I didn't want to do anything but lay down and just gain weight. I just sat and ate fast food, and I had a job at the time, so I was just eating a lot of crap and crying. And then once COVID got lifted, all the restrictions got lifted, and I did. So I'm going way too ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're okay.
March 15th, right before the pandemic happened, right before the shutdown, was Hardcore Kingdom 3. And I was hanging out with Danny Havoc most of that night. And the 4 words he said to me, I will take to the grave and I will never forget. And I plan on getting them tattooed on me soon. He said, buddy, you have all the potential in the world. And then just walked away. 2 months to the day, he passed away. I will always take those words with me because it's like I didn't get to see him after that. So that was kind of like that was him saying goodbye in a way to me. Yeah. And I am comfortable now to admit that to people. I can live with that. I miss him. I miss him every day. Everyone does. That was, in my opinion, the greatest deathmatch wrestler of all time. But yeah, that's 2020 was rough. A very, very rough year for everyone. My dad was supposed to go to Japan, and his poster was plastered all over Japan. He was supposed to wrestle Onita in FMW. And, once the restrictions were put on, it was, hey, no traveling, no leaving the country, no going to work. Right. So, 2020 was a year that we should just erase from history, but we can't do that, so we got to live with it.
So after, the pandemic and everything, when did you really fully get invested with H2O? Because I feel like that's one of the places that you've really
that was H2O was home. Always home. Mm-hmm. Even though now it's not a secret, H2O is no longer, right now it is not happening at the moment. H2O will always be home, and that will never change. I want to say April 2022, we had a show, a part of Mania Weekend. We had a whole week of wrestling from Monday night to Monday night. It was a whole week. I was given the opportunity. No, I'm jumping ahead again. I'm on. December 2022 is when I made my full-blown debut. It was me and my dad before we were against Anthrax and Alex Stretch in a double Christmas tree death match. Leading up to that prior, they had beat the ever-living dog shit out of me, from chair shots to mouse traps to gusset plates to barbed wire. And to my credit, I bleed like a pig, so it was fucking great. That was really the first time I had ever felt that adrenaline rush of, oh my god, this is amazing. So, December of 2022, I made my debut in front of about 350 people. That day, we packed the H2O Wrestling Center. Matt Tremont wrestled Sawyer Rackett in over a barbed wire match. Manders wrestled Big Red Ryan Redfield. That card was fucking stacked.
Yeah.
So, the nerves that day were running very, very wild. Every 2 seconds I was taking a piss. I didn't want to go through the curtain. I thought I had to shit myself. All the fun things. Finally, when I walked through the curtain, and basically, I got this adrenaline rush that you don't get from any other drug. Adrenaline from wrestling is the greatest drug in the world, bar none.
Mm.
And since then, I was an addict for it. That was the greatest feeling ever, and nothing will ever top it. Consistently, I started wrestling after that, probably a couple months later, because I wanted to get into shape. I needed to fix a couple health things. I want to say I made my singles debut for a Battle Royal Mania Week, so we'll go back to that. Mania Week 2023, I was given the opportunity to do a hybrid title number one contendership Battle Royal. It was me, Chondo, Anthrax, Lady Blakely, Rocket, Celio Vega, all the H2O students, and JB Anderson, I think, was in there as well. And, Matt Tremont asked me, said, hey, you've been, working hard, and you've been doing your thing. Would you like an opportunity? I jumped on it 100%. I will 100% take the opportunity. After that was in April. So I want to say, what was after that? Drawing such a blank. I want to say July is when the Completely Unstoppable Machines really became a thing. That was when Cum really came to fruition. So I was doing basically everything with my dad, whether it was managing him, teaming with him, whatever. 2024 was my biggest year for wrestling ever. I got to wrestle with Madman Pondo. I wrestled the Soul Street Survivors, Peace, Love, and Death Match, Chondo, Mark Angel. I worked with Remington Roar. A lot of the TWE guys. I got to work with Tank. I got to work with the Rev. Took that trip to Chattanooga last year in October, which I'll never forget. I got to wrestle Brax. So 2024 was, I think, the biggest year ever. And that's when I discovered X Brand, funny enough.
Okay. So before we get into X Brand, like you had mentioned, obviously you're tag team with your dad and everything. Or Completely Unstoppable Machines. Yes. How did the name come about? How did the idea of you guys being official tagged? I mean, obviously you guys have been tagging together since you were 10, but what made it like, you know what, let's actually do this for real in a ring?
So my dad always had the idea when he started training 30 years ago. He wanted to become with anyone, whoever was willing to do the gimmick. He had a couple people lined up, and they just changed their mind. They were like, no, I don't want to do it, blah, blah, blah. He was supposed to do it with, I forget. He had pitched an idea to Stan Styles to do something at an Intergender Bonanza. And then yet again, COVID hit, funny enough. And then when he realized that I really was 100% into this, he was like, father-son tag team. Literally, I was his cum, so you can't deny the name. CUM is an acronym for the Completely Unstoppable Machines. So when we debuted, we weren't CUM. It was just Louie and Louie Jr. And then we did a Loud East Wrestling show last year. and we wrestled Jay Lover and Burns Luciano, two dudes that helped my dad train basically, and that was the perfect time, full circle moment to debut the name.
I love that. So you mentioned in 2024, that's when you started becoming a part of X Brand.
Yes.
So how did you discover them? Did they discover you?
So
And
it was a little bit of both, a little bit of A and B. I was contacted one day by the myth, Justin Valencia, and he gave me a lot of credit. He's like, "Thank you, it's awesome to see you work. You're doing a good job. Keep killing it." My dad wrestled Jesse Daniels at House Party 2. The day after me and him wrestled the South Street Survivor. So I was all cut up. I had holes in my arms, and my dad's like, "Come out to the ring with me." I'm like, "All right, cool." I'm in this old tank top cut up. People are looking at my arms, classic wrestling fans. Come, it's over. So my dad does the match, and then I stayed back. My dad left because he went over to the Ashura Wrestling Center because we had the anniversary show night 2 that day. So I was sitting with Justin for maybe about 2 hours, just throughout the whole show. And we were bullshitting back and forth. He's like, "Man, you make a good asset. You're good. I love the look." And me and Justin were just going back and forth. So I want to say mid-July, Justin sends me a message going, "Would you like to wrestle the old school veteran Atticus Reigns?" Would love to. That would be the ultimate honor. Trained by John Zandig, wrestled in the old school Ultraviolet Underground, 100% sign me up. So on August 31st, I made my X-Brand debut in a triple threat match, funny enough, because Chondo asserted himself into that match. I love you, Chondo. And it was something very special. The shelter was a whole different beast because it was a backyard. We were having fun, hanging out, doing our thing, bleeding for these people who were fucking loud as hell. And neighbors would even come over and look and be like, "Are they wrestling back there?" And they would come watch. It was an amazing, amazing place to wrestle. So wrestled Atticus Reigns and Chondo. My dad wrestled hardcore that day. And I had told Justin, I thanked him, I gave him a big hug. I said, "Hey man, whenever you need me, just call." And since then, the story wrote itself. I am very happy with what I've done in X-Brand so far. I'm sure we'll get into more of that. But, Justin gave me a platform to apply my craft, gave me a platform to bleed, and I owe Justin the world. So, Justin, I know you'll watch this eventually. Thank you.
yeah, thank you, Justin. So before we dive really deep into X Brand and everything, because there's like a few like feuds I want to mention. In H2O, at one point you ended up fighting your tag team partner, your
Wow.
dad, at I believe H2O Takeoff, correct?
Whoops.
First time ever.
That was a first time ever. First time ever.
Feel, and how did that come to be?
Ooh, touchy subject. My father is my hero. My father's my best friend. And when I got into the business, I always said I want to wrestle my dad. So when Matt Tremont brought it to my attention and, said, this would be a cool idea, father versus son, first time ever, I was in. I was game. That day leading up to it, I didn't sleep the night before. I couldn't eat. I was basically sick as a dog, but not even really sick. I just couldn't think about anything else but that match. I just remember walking through the curtain and being like, every dream that I've had, like, wrestling my dad, finally came true. You know, I got to stand in the middle of the ring as Nelly played through the fucking H2O Center, and those people, every time Nelly would play, those people would go nuts. That was probably, I think, to this day, the best feeling in the world for me, was getting to wrestle my dad. Because, again, we're father and son. We could punch each other in the face as hard as we can and laugh about it on the car ride home. My dad is a 30-year legend who gave everything to this business. His body, his brain, his life. And without him, a lot of people wouldn't exist. And I don't think deathmatch wrestling would be what it is on the East Coast without him. Excuse me.
Okay.
That day, I just remember breaking a computer monitor over his head. And I started to see him squirt, and I was like, oh, fuck. All right. Here we go. Classic low-life Louie. He kicks out at 2. I just remember I balled up my fist. I hit him as hard as I could on the top of his head. He just kept telling me to hit him harder. All right there is when I was like, I give up. I quit right there. I was like, nope. But to this day, my greatest match that I've ever had. Not because of, oh, you know, this, that, and the next, just because of who it was against. The greatest match I've ever had in my life.
And with H2O, like pretty much a couple of events after, ending, to be continued question mark. Are you happy that you guys had that match in the H2O promotion in the building?
Yes. What we were talking about. I handed my dad that Survival of the Sickest trophy in that building. And said to him that day, you and me will one day wrestle each other in this building. 8 years later, almost to the, well, not almost to the day, but close to it. We stood across the ring from each other and punched each other in the face as hard as we could. So that match will forever be the best match I've ever had.
That's such a beautiful moment. Even with you guys punching each other, like that's amazing with having that full circle moment with each other.
100%. Greatest feeling in the world. Truthfully, greatest feeling in the world.
So after Reminisce had happened, you had been a part of a couple different events, one of them being Yardcore Mayhem, which I did see in your match. Amazing.
Fucking Skittle. I love you, Skittle, wherever you are.
Love you, Skittle. Oh my God. It was absolutely incredible event. I mean, from start to finish, amazing. But you had mentioned 2 things. One, that you and Brax would be doing a show together, the Standing and Surviving, and that you said after a little while you would be taking a break. So obviously, unfortunately, the show with that you were going to put together with Brax didn't happen. Is there going to be possibly something in the future with you 2?
Brax will forever be my brother. Funny enough, on my birthday this year, he calls me and goes, "Happy birthday, little bro. I love you. I have this idea." I'm like, what's up, man? For those of you who don't know, Brax ran a show with President Edward Hawkins in 2024, presidential war or political warfare, excuse me. And the main event was the Completely Unstoppable Machines versus the Killdozer and Brax. Brax had never thought about running another show. And when he asked me this question, I was like, I would love to run a show. That would be, an amazing thing to add to the bucket list of things I had already done at 19 years old. So I was game. As you know, the shelter closed, unfortunately, causing a lot of people to lose a lot of bookings, myself included. Once the shelter closed, we found out a week before the show. Everything was set. We had put down the deposit on the venue. All the talent was covered. everything was ready to go. So that day, me and Brax were on the phone for about 8 hours, calling different places, calling different VFWs, calling places that we thought would allow deathmatch wrestling. Like I was telling you before, unfortunately, a lot of people see people swinging glass at each other and they just turn their back to it. So we could not, unfortunately, secure a venue. And then I want to say about 2 months later, we found a place. Shout out to Jason Knight, a independent hardcore legend, ECW champion. He was going to let us run in his venue. Again, everything was pretty much set. The card was booked. I think that we had even made it better than it was for the original show. And the original show had JB Anderson at hardcore, Cats Out of the Bag, myself and Matt Tremont, Braxton Remington Roar, and a whole bunch of other stuff that I can't remember. So for the second time around for August, we had Toby Farley, Jameson Shook, Neil Diamond Cutter. We had top tier, names coming in for this show. And yet again, the world just decided to tell us no. And due to that, it didn't get to happen. One day it will. One day, whether it's together or separate, one day a show will happen. Funny enough, I have spoken to certain people, and I have something in the works, baking in the oven. And I think it's going to be something that people won't expect, something different. So there's a lot of moving parts going on right now. But I think when I do pull it off, it's going to be something that people won't forget, and it's going to be something people talk about for a while.
And I think with coming from you in general, you're so smart, and with all the experience and knowledge that you have been given to you, you're creative with it, with all the matches that you had in store for it. I can only imagine what you have in store.
So, funny enough, my dream match that I've always wanted to watch, for some reason, is Austin Luke versus Low-Ki.
Ooh.
That's all I'll say. That's all I can say. That is my dream match that, as a fan, I want to watch. Or Austin Luke versus
goosebumps.
or Austin Luke versus Amazing Red. Either way, if I do ever pull off a show, that one of those will happen.
Oh, I can. Oh my god, I can only imagine. I'm such a fan of ever since I saw a bunch of with H2O and Austin Luke and everything, and Max Tremont giving his huge speech about him at one of the shows. It was just oh yeah, he's one of my favorites, in the indies for sure.
Austin Luke is a talent that deserves him and Marcus Mathers a lot. Not even just them. From Austin Luke down.
Yep.
Fucking the H2O Wrestling Center produced some of the fucking greatest independent wrestlers of all time. Austin Luke, Marcus Mathers, Dylan McKay, Christian Ross, Chris Bradley, Anthrax, Stretch. All these dudes, in their own way, are fucking phenomenal. And I will tell you this. Austin Luke one day will be on somebody's TV screen. I don't know whose, I don't know what channel, but that kid will be on fucking TV one day.
Oh, 100%. So after you had mentioned with standing and surviving and everything, and you mentioned at Yardcore Mayhem that you're going to be taking a break for a while, but it seemed like that never really happened because you just kind of went into full swing with everything going on. You ended up, if I'm not mistaken, being part of the Tarp of Death, a Tournament of Death this year.
Another thing on the bucket list that I can cross off, but we'll never, ever forget. A lot of my friends were in it. Mikey Anarchy, Dave Sayers, they had all gotten in. They got their foot in the door. I said, hey man, just shoot them a message. What's the least they can say? No.
Right.
I send my messages out to the certain people. In about 15 seconds, I got a response. Yes, we want you in Tarp of Death. All right, cool. That's enough for me. So I called my doctor. I said, hey, man, I need blood work. I need all this. I got something big I got to do. The day before, I had done an X Brand Underground show. I wrestled Jesse Daniels. And me and him beat the fucking dog shit out of each other. We used hollow point doors and thumbtacks and gusset plates, and I felt like dog shit. I was actually sitting with Tim Strange. I looked at him and I said, we got to wrestle again tomorrow, right? He's like, lad, don't remind me. And then just went to bed. I was like, you mother. So I'm tossing and turning. I can't sleep. Finally, I shut my eyes at like 4 o'clock.
Oh my God.
My alarm rings at 7. Time to go to Delaware. So the drive to Delaware, I'm sitting in the back seat. At this point, I'm drinking like 4 Monsters. Maybe 4 or 5 at this point. And I'm just shaking in the back seat like a child ready to get out of the car and go on the playground. So I pull up to the infamous field in Delaware where I had never been, never once went to a TOD as a fan, always was supposed to go and just never got to. So I pulled up to the farm and I was just in awe. It's like a kid in a candy store. You see,
oh my God, I bet.
I see Dmitry Alexandrov. I'm talking to him. I'm hanging out with J.J. Allen. I'm sitting with Schlack, hanging out with Everett Ryan. Finally, I go onto this 40-foot tarp, and I just do like a full 360. And I'm just like, yo, I fucking did it. I did this. So I'm setting up. I'm helping out, getting weapons and everything ready. And then at about, I want to say, once Eric Ryan and J.J. Allen are done lighting each other on fire, it starts to fucking rain. So I look at Anthrax and I go, it's raining. He's like, yeah, I think this is going to be slip and slide to death. I was like, hey, brother, if we're bleeding, we're bleeding. So I'm looking and the tarp's filling with water and I'm just like, oh my God. And I just remember I looked at, who was it? Might have been Aunt Mickey. I looked at Aunt Mickey. I gave her a hug. And I was like, I'm going to go wrestle on a tarp. She's like, you deserve it. I was like, oof.
Oh.
So the CZW theme starts to play around, and we walk to this fucking 40 by 40 tarp with 700 people circling us like it's a school fight. And I just remember picking up a light tube, and I was like, let's go. And that was that. That day, I got to work with so many different talents that I had, 1, never met, 2, never worked with, and 3, some of them I've never seen. I didn't know they existed. Buddy Badcock, Baracho, the Handyman, Eric Black, Jake Dvorak. All these dudes are underrated talents, man, that are fucking, they will give life and limb to just go out there and bleed for those people. They have all earned my fucking respect and earned a place in my heart. I just remember I got hit in the back with a bicycle. And I was like, why? Why?
Above anything else, why that?
And someone hits me in the head with a mini log cabin, and I was just like, that's why I love this, because I can get hit with the most random shit, and the people fucking go nuts for it. That was a day that I'll never forget. Wrestling in the rain. I don't know if everyone knows the viral video of Brandon Kirk and Psycho Clown wrestling in a pool that was a wrestling ring. I had always said, I want to wrestle in the rain at least once. I crossed that off the bucket list too. I could say I fucking wrestled in the rain on a tarp. So, being a part of CCW was fucking an honor and a privilege. Thank you to DJ Hyde and Shannon Hunter for fucking making that happen. Thank you for everyone that was either on the tournament, in the tournament, on the tarp. Brothers and sisters, man, that's what this business is about. It's a fucking brotherhood and a family, because if we don't stick together, what do we got? Nothing.
Anyone watching this, you guys can rewind that last 10 seconds and play it a couple times. Some of you guys need to hear that, and just letting you know.
Clip
But
it and put it on the internet.
right, clip it, clip it. So, amongst all of this, and we touched base a little bit before, you've been a part of X Brand Wrestling since 2024. Um, what are some of your favorite moments from X Brand in general?
So I'll start with the most recent one.
Okay.
Um, October 4th, 2025 will be a day that I cross a happy face and a heart in every calendar I ever have till the day I die. Um, Carnival of Chaos was something I'll never forget for many reasons. Mikey Anarchy is my best friend inside the ring and outside the ring. Me and him talk every day on a daily basis about the dumbest shit because that's just what we do. So he walks up to me and goes, "Have you ever done a normal barbed wire before?" "No." "Have you ever used a pane of glass before?" "No, why?" He's like, "Well, you're going to today." I'm like, "No, I have a chairs match, dude." He's like, "No, it's a four-way." I was like, "Oh, I didn't read the memo, I guess." Cool.
Oh,
So I remember as we're setting up this barbed wire, I'm just standing in the middle of the ring, just looking around me, and I'm just like, this is nuts, because it's one light tube bundle after another getting brought into the ring. And I'm just like, what the fuck? But in that moment, like, I can't explain how I felt. It was, I don't know if it was happiness or nerves, but I just felt like a spirit inside me. And I felt calm. I was like, I'm going into this with 3 people who I love and trust. I know I'll come out of it with a lot of fucking scars, and I have a keloid on my back about this big, dead smack where my spine is because of that match. But it was all worth it. Every single minute of that match was worth it.
so another thing that recently you've kind of have your own manager now, Eden Poison. Shout out to Eden, you're amazing. Um, when did you guys start working together, and when did she start becoming like your manager?
Um, Eden Poison has become my best friend in the world. Um, I would kill somebody for her, and she has helped me through a lot of personal shit, a lot of wrestling shit. Um, so me and her met, I want to say, a year ago at a show in Kensington, Pennsylvania, and I didn't know who she was. She walked up to me, shook my hand. I said hello, and I said goodbye. I didn't know her. I didn't know her at all. I want to say probably at Reminisce was the first time I sat with her and fully spoke to her one on one.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, and I was like, "Yo, this girl loves wrestling. Cool." Um, then literally a couple weeks later, she's in a pillow fight in fucking X Brand. I was like, "Oh shit, okay." Um, she's just as nuts as I am, if not crazier. Okay. Um, she wants it, and she loves this very, very much. Um, she, how do I put it? How do I put it without saying it? She basically saved my life in a sense, um, in a career way and in other ways. So when I looked at her, I said, "Yo, if you're serious about it, I will be there for you. I will help you." And I was like, "Come manage me. We'll see where it goes." 7 months later, here we are.
And I think
Take
you
it
guys
over.
are so I think the dynamic is really perfect together with you too. I think that was a perfect choice for you guys.
A lot of people don't like it. Uh,
Really?
Yeah, I've heard from a lot of other people that they don't like the pairing. They're not fond of it. They think it's weird. They think I'm too much of a nice guy to be paired with her. But in reality, they're all fucking idiots. They're all jealous, and they're all wrong. So if you got a problem, come see me, and we'll settle whatever disagreement there is.
Y'all heard him. So, feuds that have, at least from what I've seen, one person that it almost like you guys cannot escape each other when it comes to fighting one another, and that is my buddy Hardcore. You guys have done this song and dance together quite a few times, and you guys were supposed to actually this past weekend in Houston.
Excuse me. Oh my god. Hardcore. Uh, what can I think I'm dying live on camera.
No.
What can I say about hardcore? So I met hardcore about 2.5 years ago.
Okay.
And I saw that spark in his eye the minute I met him. Just from shaking his hand. I knew that hardcore was just as nuts as I was, just as willing as I was, and wanted an opportunity. So when I approached hardcore, I said, yo, one day we're going to get violent together. He gave me a big hug, and that was that. I really think I'm dying here. So we got to dance on March 23rd of this past year, actually, for the first time ever. Hyper violent hell. And funny enough, Justin comes up to me and goes, hey man, it was a couple weeks before the match. He's like, what do you think of hyper violence? I was like, I don't know what the fuck hyper violence is. But if that's what you're giving me, we're just gonna bleed a lot. So I looked at hardcore and go, I messaged hardcore. I go, hey man, what's hyper violence? He's like, I thought you knew. I was like, I don't fucking know. So me and him brought our dumb minds together and made bats with skewers and scissors, and I went out and bought like 50 gusset plates, and you've all seen the match. We just beat the shit out of each other for about 20 minutes.
Oh, it was beautiful.
So me and hardcore will never escape each other. That is my rock to the Austin. That is my brother in and out of the ring. I will wrestle hardcore every day and twice on Sunday. And when me and him dance again, it will be a lot more violent than the first time. Because little do the people of Loco know, we had a lot of fucking dumb shit planned for that match. That was probably going to kill one of us. So when it does happen, wherever it happens, bring a body bag. Because I don't know who will walk away, but one of us probably won't.
I'm going to have to come see that. I'll bring the bag. So you've had a lot of amazing moments. You mentioned that, wrestling your dad was like your favorite match, and you mentioned, the Carnival of Chaos. Besides that, do you have any other like favorite moments that you've had in general?
Overall, Concrete Hell 2024 was my first singles match, one-on-one, in H2O and in general, actually. In that building, I should say. And it was against Anthrax. And I was like, Anthrax is another dude who's my brother. I'll die for him, and I know he would do the same. He looks at me and he goes, it's time to show the world what we can do. I was like, no pressure or nothing. So I called my good friend and buddy John Hammer, who makes a lot of crazy shit. And I go, hey man, I need the dumbest shit you can make. Make me the dumbest thing that you can think of. He FaceTimes me about 35 minutes later with a cricket paddle from fucking the UK, laced in about 20 gusset plates. I was like, fuck it, we're going. Whatever.
Man's an artist.
So that day, funny enough, my dad had to go to the hospital because he had a machete slice in his arm about that wide. And we're sitting in the hospital, and my head is covered in blood. I took my shirt off because my back was so itchy from the about 150 gusset holes and all the carpet strip slices on my back. The nurse looks at me and goes, "Hey, do you need a fucking room?" I was like, "No, they're just itchy." She's like, "Well, what did you do?" She's like, I'm a wrestler. And funny enough, you can ask my dad and Hammer about this. The lady goes, "Do you know Alex Stretch?" I was like, "Yeah, why?" She's like, "He's a regular here." I was like, "Oh yeah, he's a good friend of mine. I wrestle with him." And I was like, that's how I knew that I had made some kind of impact. Because
That's
here I am
amazing.
in a hospital, and this lady knows Stretch. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
That's
Yeah, but Concrete Hell was special. Hardcore Kingdom this past year was special. Finally got to work Matt Tremont, the Bulldozer. Not one-on-one, but again, without him, I'm not sitting in front of this camera today. That man, I want to wrestle one-on-one, whether it's in a barbed wire, whether it's 1,000 light tubes, or whether it's our fists. That man has given me everything, has helped me in every way, and to be able to say at this ripe age, I got to hang with Matt Tremont, that's all I could fucking ask for.
Yeah.
The X Brand Battle Royal from Fear, the final four of that match, all the Peace, Love, and Death match in there, that's very special. I don't know if people know this, but I wrestled for GTS, Grimm's Toy Show. I know that gets a lot of heat online. I'll go back to after Survival of the Sickest 1. On that day, me and my dad, we drive home. It's about 3 a.m. We finally get home. He takes a shower. I go to bed. 9 o'clock, he's knocking on my door. "Hey, man, we got to go to Queens." "Why are we fucking going to Queens? It's a 3-hour train ride. I don't want to fucking go to Queens. I'm tired. You just did a whole deathmatch tournament, lost God knows how much blood." He's like, "Let's go. Get dressed. We're going on the fucking train." I get on the train. We go to Queens, and I walk into the Creative Pro Wrestling Academy to find Brian Myers sitting on his sofa in his office. Hang out with Brian Myers, and who walks through the office door? Grimm from Grimm's Toy Show, who I've been idolizing and watching for all those years. I literally cried. I take a picture with this man, and that's something else that I'll fucking remember forever. But yesterday, the video is out on YouTube. Go check it out. I won the GTS Intercontinental Championship. And for people who don't know, my dad was in the first ever Intercontinental Championship match on that YouTube channel and didn't win the belt. So again, another full circle moment for father and son. I won the belt last night, and that was probably one of the a nice feather on the cap in the non-deathmatch world. But and then one other big memory for me, I had to put my dog to sleep about 4 months ago. I had won the MWF Deathmatch Championship in June. And when I brought the belt home, you would think I would show my dad and hand it to my dad. I did not. I put the title on my blind dog and took a picture of it with her. And that is something that is something I will take with me to the grave. My dog was my best friend. I slept on the couch with her till the end of her life. Funny enough, I don't remember the last time. I'm trying to think. I don't remember the last time I haven't thought about her since she's passed. Um, I miss my dog every day, so that memory is something I'll remember forever.
Oh. Well, I want to thank you so much for sharing those memories with us and everything. Um, with everything you've accomplished so far, you mentioned match Remind as someone that one-on-one you'd love to face. What are some other dream opponents that you have, and
Um,
maybe like dream types of death matches that you'd like to be a part of? And what are just some goals in general that you'd like to accomplish? I mean, you've already accomplished so much so
yeah.
far. I mean, the sky's the
Um,
limit for you.
for me, there's a lot. Like you mentioned before at Yardcore, I had said I was going to step away, and when Skittle hit me up about Yardcore, I didn't really have any other wrestling events after Yardcore, so I really thought that was going to be my last match for a while. And then, I have a lot of spinal issues. I had a lot of liver issues, and my doctor really was like, "I don't think you should be wrestling, not right now, anyway." I was like, "Okay, whatever." So I really did think it was my time to unlace the boots and just step away for however long I needed to. And then yet again, good old Justin Valencia shoots me a phone call and says, "Hey, do you want to come wrestle Sinister?" And I was like, "Sure." Um, there's a lot of dudes that I want to bleed with and make magic with. Like I said, I've gotten to wrestle J Shock, Hardcore, Sinister, Atticus Range, Chondo, Mark Angel, Anthrax, Stretch, Mikey Anarchy, Lowlife Louie, Matt Tremont, Brax. I've gotten to work with Madman Pondo and Dale Patricks, Mickey Knuckles. It's the amount of people I've gotten to work with is fucking insane. But there's a lot of dudes out there. Nico Gray, first one on the list. Evan Parker is on the list. Jake Dvorak, JB Anderson, Neil Diamond Cutter, Tank, Jameson Shook, um, Tommy Vendetta, John Wayne Murdoch, Masada, Necro Butcher, uh, Schlack, Hoodfoot. I can keep going.
Would be fire. Oh my god.
I love Mo, man. When I was with Mo at Yardcore, I was like, "When are we gonna dance?" He's like, "We'll dance." I was like, "I'm waiting to dance," because that's another one. Mo's up there. Um, trying to look at my list that I have taped to the wall. Otis Koger. That's I think right now that's the big one for me. Otis Koger, uh, probably the fastest rising young star of deathmatch wrestling, who will one day carry this genre on his back.
Oh,
Bear Bronson, another one who is fucking phenomenal, who was on
yeah.
TV for all those years and went through all the trials and tribulations and fucking went through hell, is now a fucking star. Ranked, I think, like 86 in the PWI. Fucking, the man's phenomenal. Cyclope is another one who I've known for years, who I would love to work. Obviously, everyone's usual answer is Jun Kasai. Shout out to Neil Diamond Cutter. That's his white whale, and I hope he fucking catches his white whale. Kevin Chaos is another one that comes to mind.
Ooh.
There's a lot of people out there, man, that I would love to dance with. As far as, places I would like to go, things I'd like to do, the UK, come versus the Harrops, please, and thank you.
Oh.
Good friend Tim Strange, please and thank you. Dmitry Alexandrov, who, if it wasn't for Dmitry Alexandrov, I probably would have gotten locked up when I was in Michigan. So, Dmitry, I love you with all my heart. You are a true brother. And if you didn't calm me down, I was probably going to kill that guy. So, thank you. For some reason, Casanova Valentine, I saw him wrestling in China. I want to wrestle in China. That looks really cool. Different environment, different
Yeah.
being. Japan, obviously. Masashi Takeda, fucking old school FMW style shit, explosions, scissors, meat cleavers. I would
Yeah.
fucking leave every piece of fucking fiber and blood in Japan. Australia, Joel Bateman, Vic Craig, all those dudes, man. Vixen,
Mhm.
Mexico, Arrow Boy, and fucking Miedo, all those dudes in Zona in the junkyard. Nino Extremo impressed me tremendously. Wherever Nino Extremo is, that's fucking. We need to lock horns, dude. Um, no, there's a lot, man, and it's. I named about probably 35, 40 people right there, and some of those matches, people would look at me and say that's a death sentence. It might be a death sentence, you know. Wrestling a dude like Masada, who's been around 25 years, is a fucking living legend in the business. One of the toughest son of a bitches I've ever fucking met. And it would be an honor to wrestle Masada. People would look at me and be like, no, you're stupid. I probably am. Probably kick my face off, but I'd be the happiest person on earth. Um, there's a lot of people out there, man, who I would love to get to wrestle. Um, I've done a lot in 3 years, and it's fucking insane to me. But I don't plan on going anywhere now. I have, I think, 6 shows in December alone.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I already have like 15 dates for 2026. Uh,
Yes.
Spoiler alert, I will be in Vegas for Mania Week. Shh. Um, Loco is a bucket list. Shout out to Jamie, who was very understanding when I spoke to him. California, Michael Kruger, Crimson Cup. I'm looking at you, Kruger. We've been talking about locking horns for a long time. Same thing with Raven Havoc. Me and Raven Havoc years ago talked about bleeding and stabbing each other with gusset plates and landing on cinder blocks. So you call me and I'll answer the phone.
That would be so sick.
X Brand has a group of young talent that is fucking phenomenal. I got to wrestle Jay Shock. I've seen the dude almost die like 5 times now, flying off of roofs and people just kind of staring there like Samoa Joe looking at him hit the concrete. And that man just gets up like he's fine. So that's another dude who's fucking insane. Um, you know, my how do you put it? My hourglass is still very, very full.
Absolutely.
My body doesn't agree with me sometimes because I'm on the bigger side. I'm still, bigger than others, and my knees don't like me. I'm doing GTS Grimm's Toy Show every Thursday. That's an open platform for me to get better, apply my craft, and hey, man, people can say what they say and say that those are backyard guys and whatever, but those dudes, man, are fucking workhorses. Adam Bazar, Ice T Curtis, Mark Garofalo. Look out for these dudes on the indies, man, because those guys, I'm telling you, I'm gonna make a very nice phone call to Justin and talk to him about these dudes because these guys are fucking talent out the ass who deserve to be seen, and people just sit there and shit on them because of what they do. And shout out to Grim, Dave, who's given me an open platform to apply my craft, who has believed in me since I was a kid. So, again, man, there's a lot of people. I could sit here for another 5 hours and name probably every deathmatch wrestler in the world. But for me, I'm not going anywhere. I don't plan on going anywhere. I think I'll probably be one of those that wants to die in the ring. I want to have kids. I want to get married, but wrestling is my number one, and it always will be. Always has been. I'm not happy doing anything else. Like I come home from work, tape studying. Come home from work, planning out a show. Come home from work, trying to see what fits where, trying new moves, thinking about different stuff. Wrestling is all I ever think about. I love wrestling. And there's the future is bright, man, especially for X Brand. Um, I know that Justin loves this, and he's given all of us a platform to do it. And shout out to Evan Owen Parker, or Evan, whatever the fuck you want to call him. One of the nicest, kindest people that I've met, in and out of the business. Um, Even though he talked all that shit about me, I'll fucking square his ass when I see him in the ring.
I
But
saw that. I was like, damn.
he's a good dude who, without him, I don't think we'd be where we are, and that's a shoot. Um, like I said to you before, we need to work together and we need to stay sticking together because there's people out there that don't like what we do that will shit on us forever. And, if we stay together, if we love each other, we build each other up, we'll all succeed. Um,
I
you
agree.
know, that's where my mindset is. Just if we love each other and take care of each other, it's going to be much easier.
I'm so glad you mentioned that because, and I know you mentioned that earlier, but I feel like from both sides, as the talent and the wrestlers within the deathmatch community, but also the fans in the community themselves need that instead of having that or trying to divide or, oh, well, I like this or, just so I agree with that completely. Um, so to bring a little more lighthearted, um, when it comes to weapons in the ring and stuff that you like to use, what are some things that you like to use in a death match, and what are some things that you are like, I cannot stand this shit. Please don't let me do this.
So I've used pretty much everything except for fire and cinder blocks.
Okay.
Um, I've used gusset plates, barbed wire, thumbtacks, light tubes. They all fucking suck. They all suck. Um, it's not fun landing on a big metal plate that's meant for roofing that has hundreds of spikes on it. Thumbtacks are meant to pin shit to the wall. You're not meant to walk on them barefoot. Barbed wires to keep inmates in prisons. You're not meant to get hit with it. Um, Tenzons are something that I look at and I'm just like, no, no, thank you. I sat and watched my dad get one out of his head. Shout out to Casanova Valentine because he was the only one that could fucking get it out. Took us like 45 minutes to pry it out of his head with a pair of pliers.
Hmm.
I'm good, man. I'll do anything, but that just looked like it fucking sucked. And he sat there like this, like he was waiting for the bus, and I'm just sitting there like, no, I'm okay.
How are you so calm? How are you so calm?
I'm good, man. Like, I'm okay. Um, but yeah, I'll use anything, man. I'm like my dad when it comes to that. I don't. My weapon of choice is a gusset plate. I don't know why I fell in love with them, but I love them. I don't know why. Razor blades are another thing, man. I just love the visual. I think I fell in love with razor blades when I watched Kasai and who was it? But I mean Kasai and Numazawa. When Kasai takes the drop kick into the Razor Cross, and as he stumbles out, you just see the stream of blood from each razor that cut him individually. It was one of the best visuals I've ever seen in my life.
So that's perfect. Gussets and razors. Very
Yep.
nice. So, with that being said, within wrestling in general and in deathmatch wrestling, two separate, what is your personal Mount Rushmore for just regular wrestling and deathmatch wrestling?
Wow. Um, Regular wrestling, like televised wrestling, WWE, WWF. So I'll do 3. I'll do independent wrestling, I'll do
Ooh,
deathmatch wrestling, and then I'll do WWE TV wrestling. Uh,
yes, I love extra.
Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, Shawn Michaels, and The Undertaker.
Okay.
That's a very controversial one. I know people are going to give me shit for that. Independent wrestling, Homicide, no questions asked. Um, ooh, it's hard. The Amazing Red. I didn't think this one would be so hard. Holy crap. Um, Joey Janela,
Ooh, okay.
and I think a young upstart who was going to one day destroy television and fucking be on everyone's TV screen, Alec Price. That
Ooh.
dude, that dude has all the talent in the world, and
Oh,
again, one day we'll see that man on TV. No questions asked.
oh, for sure.
As far as deathmatch wrestling, it's that's very hard. Um, Danny Havoc, Matt Tremont, Masada. Then you can interchange the last one with so many people. Kasai, Onita, Zandig, Mondo, Wife Beater. There's so many, but if I had to pick one, it would probably be Onita. That man basically created the fucking genre of
Yep.
explosions and no rope barbed wire, and then Zandig brought it over here. So those two are interchangeable, however you look at it. But again, without that group of individuals from the 70s, 80s, Puerto Rico wrestling, where Abby and Carlos Colon were stabbing each other with forks and fucking pencils and shit. Um, you know, without those guys, we don't have what we have now.
Right.
So, Mount Rushmore is always tricky for everybody, but that's my opinion. Um, so
Very solid answers. Very, very solid. And I love because I've asked everyone this so far, like with the longer interviews and everything. I love how everyone's deathmatch ones are a little bit different.
yeah,
Like I love it. I love how everyone has interpreted that. I love that. So this is a little bit random, non-wrestling related, but just to get to know you in general. It's a little random question, but what is your favorite snack? And if you have a savory and a sweet, you can name both.
ooh, that's a good one. Um, So when I was little, my dad would always buy the Little Debbie oatmeal cream pies. My mom and dad would always bring me those every Sunday from food shopping, and I would take them to school. So, and you can even attest, John Hammer, when we were in Chattanooga, there was a Circle K right next to the hotel. So I'd wake up, I'd grab a cup of coffee, and I'd go to I'd go to the gas station, and I'd get 2 double-decker oatmeal cream pies,
Oh,
and I would
hell
always
yeah.
I would always throw one at him because he'd be like, "Oh, here comes cream pie," and I would always fucking throw it with a hammer. Um, and then barbecue ruffles. I don't
Ooh,
know why, but I can sit and eat bags of those a day. They're fucking phenomenal.
very good choices. Very good choices. I mean, it's not a far stretch with your favorite sweet being cream pie, oatmeal cream pie. I
Yeah,
mean, you are one half of cum, so I mean that does
exactly,
make sense. That does
exactly.
make sense. And then another random one, to get you like hyped and everything, what is What is some music that you like to listen to? Get yourself motivated, get yourself hyped up.
So my old Spotify playlist was just a playlist of wrestling themes, just like indie
Love it.
wrestling themes, televised wrestling themes. Like I said, Edge was always my favorite wrestler growing up. Still to this day is. So before a big match, I'll listen to Metalingus by Alter Bridge, and I'll listen to
Well,
it like
that's
five.
awesome.
I'll listen to it like 5 times, and then I'll listen to my own theme song, and then I'll slap myself in the face and be like, all right, cool, we're here, we're good.
We're
Um,
here. We're good.
I listen to everything. Like I fell in love with Jelly Roll recently. I listen to old school like '80s R&B shit. I listen to like boy bands. I love music. I'm a music guy. Um,
Love
yeah,
that.
but if I'm gonna listen to one specific thing on like a show day, it's rap. It's like heavy metal rap.
Right on. Very cool. So I want to thank you so much for coming on here and doing this with me. It has been such a pleasure of like getting to know you and getting to know like everything that you've done within the wrestling business, like just 20 years old and how much you want to do. And I cannot wait to see you just go above and beyond. You're going to exceed every goal that you put in front of you. I'm so proud of every of your accomplishments so far. I mean, you're even in the middle of like doing school and everything.
Yeah.
And just kudos to you. You are just such a brilliant young man, and I'm so excited for your future ahead of you. Please take this time to plug yourself. What do you have going on? You said you have December pretty filled up, and where can everyone find you?
So if you want to come watch me cut other people and bleed a lot, you can come to Pro Wrestling XX at the Pine Civic Grove Association Center. I think I said that right. In Gloucester City, New Jersey, on December 13th. You can see me at X Brand. I forget the date. Holy shit! On December 6th. DM X Brand for information. You can also see me December 27th at Wrestling and Recovery in Bayville, New Jersey. You can see me December 28th at Mass Movement Wrestling for what's that show called? I think it's called Snowed In or Cold Out or some shit like that. Um, that's in Bristol, Connecticut. Um, you can see me make a special debut in March in a different state for Florida Deathmatch Carnival.
Ooh.
Um, and there's a lot of other things that I can't say, unfortunately. You can see me January 17th at X Brand Wrestling's Caved In. And then just pay attention to social media because there's going to be a lot of things popping up. You can follow me on Instagram at Louis Ramos Jr. You can follow me on Twitter at Louis Ramos Jr. _come. You can find me on Facebook at Louis Ramos. Um, yeah, and that's pretty much it. I'm willing to travel to bleed to catch as catch can to lucha, tag team wrestling. I'll do anything. If you want to book me for some reason, you can email me. But the wrestling journey has been, I think, the biggest and best journey I'll ever be on. Um, I thank pro wrestling for everything for my life. I thank you, Karlee, for doing this because it shows that you care about what we're doing. Justin Valencia, Matt Tremont, Joe Montana, anyone who's ever allowed me in their ring to bleed and entertain people, thank you. Anthrax, Mikey Anarchy, Hardcore, Steve Mack, Homicide. I love you all and thank you for teaching me what I know. Declan Grant, Frank Benetti, Leroy Robinson, guys I haven't seen in a long time. I love you. I miss you. Keep doing what you're doing. And to all the people, whether it's GCW, ICW, Wrestling Open, they are putting on some of the best shows um, right now in the world. So follow all of them on social media. Support them. Support people like Dmitry Alexandrov, the Harrops, Mickey Knuckles, all those people who put their bodies on the line. Tank, John Wayne Murdoch, the legends of the business like Masada and Necro Butcher, Matt Tremont. We do this for you. If there wasn't a fan base, we wouldn't do it. I know, I would do it for everyone and anyone, but I love everyone out there who supports us, who supports me, who supports deathmatch wrestling. Um, be nice to each other. You don't know how much time you're given in the world. It's not about how much time you have, it's what you do with it that matters. Eden Poison, you are my best friend. I love you. Thank you for everything you've done for me. My parents, obviously, for giving me this life. And just keep doing what you're doing, man, because you never know when life's going to take it away from you. So enjoy the ride you're on. Ride the path to success. And you'll find yourself a lot more happy, because that's what I've done.
And you're just so incredible to hear. And I can't wait for everything that you're going to accomplish, and seeing everything you've accomplished so far has been incredible. For myself, of course, you can follow me on TikTok at Kakeface_Karlee, and on Instagram at Kakeface_Karlee 2.0. And you can find me here at the X Brand Wrestling YouTube channel for X Brand Unleashed. And of course, follow them on Instagram, TikTok at XBW Legend, Facebook. But thank you guys so much for joining me. And until next time, okay, thanks. Bye.